This is David K. Megatron. Predacop. Professional. And you're listening to Pop Culture Rewind. The podcast. Yes. No.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Rewind. I'm your host Travis.
And I'm Xavier.
And on this week's episode, we have a special treat for our listeners.
For our listeners, for us.
For us.
For somebody.
Yeah. This
one's kind of a, like Ben Affleck says about David and Jay and Silent Bob. First, you do the studio picture for them, and then you do the artsy independent movie for you. This one's for us.
Yeah.
One for them, one for you.
So with that, we probably lost our listeners.
Yeah, probably.
But hopefully, we'll assume that there's one or two more still hanging in there.
For all the listeners we still have, both of them.
Yeah.
We got a treat for you.
Yeah. This particular episode, we're going to talk about a show that was really special for us in the late 90s, about 96, 98. It was called Beast Wars.
Transformers, Beast Wars.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
You called me out on that last time.
Did I?
We mentioned this show before in our top 10 episodes, and I called it Beast Wars, and you cut me off for like Transformers, Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Get it right, asshole. I think you said that. So
that sounds like some other thing.
Okay.
Yes. We did mention this on the other show, and this is when this show first came out. It was something that we watched together, like after school or whatever.
I think so, yeah.
But it was just
it was a weekly show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just like what you said. It was a Transformers show, and we were big on Transformers at the time. Still am. But this was going to be a different take on the Transformers universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While still remaining very faithful to what had been established.
Right. Yeah. It was
a lot of homage, a lot of respects to the original. It didn't just take the name and run.
Yeah. Which is funny because I believe it started out. It was going to be its own thing, but they kind of ended up.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like right for the. Well, okay. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So yeah, Beast Wars.
Now, what brought this on? The sudden resurgence of Beast Wars.
Okay. Well, Transformers, of course, long-running toy line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should say that first.
Yeah. So if we still have any listeners, there you go. We're talking about toys. But the sales and everything, the popularity of Transformers were kind of on the down low, or they're just kind of slumping to an all-time low, pretty much.
Yeah. I think maybe the original fans of the toys were growing up.
Yeah. It was in that weird flux of demographics.
Yeah.
And before nostalgia was really a thing.
Yeah, you alone weren't enough to keep Hasbro.
Damn it, I tried.
Yeah, you did try. I'll attest to that. Yeah, you should own stock in that company as much as you invested in the 90s.
Right? No kidding. Jeez, if they only knew.
Yeah.
But, it was... Not a whole lot was going on before 96. There was a lot of... They tried what was called... Generation 2, where they just tried their own little thing, toy lines. It was the 90s, so they did like lasers and things like that. It was
you like lasers,
right?
I know personally, I had not written them off, but I had left it behind in my childhood, and I was into gargoyles and Batman and other things. I became a man. I put away childish things.
You didn't say it like that.
Corinthians, no duh. Okay,
and I was kind of along the same lines. I had put it away, and then it was like 95, right before Beast Wars came out. That's when I started something clicked in my head, and I started getting a little nostalgia kick. And I
was 94.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think it was 94. Or maybe it took a year for you to start actually buying them.
Yeah, we started. It was in just going to school, and we would just talk about it, and it came up in different situations, and I don't know. But so I was kind of into it, but it was just nothing's really going on with the new stuff. There was nothing out there to generate interest.
Yeah, that's fair enough way to say it.
So Hasbro, the maker of the toys, they said, let's try to change things up here. Hence the name Beast Wars. They wanted to have, instead of machines, they had animals. They were going to do like
beast machines. That would never work. I'm sorry. Go on.
Well played, Mr.
It all sounds like some bad movie. Yeah. But so yeah, they came up with this cool idea of incorporating.
It was different. It was different. Something that you kind of change it up, take it out of the status quo. But the thing that was going to make this different was they were going to have a new TV show, a new cartoon to go along with it. And this is going to be a little bit different because this was going to be done totally CGI, computer generated. And at the time, that was
kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
You mentioned a show called Reboot.
Well, not yet.
Last time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But last time, when I said, I think this is one of the first CGIs, and you were like, no, asshole. That's I remember you very, not fondly.
Yeah, I don't think I called you an asshole.
No. But I don't remember Reboot at all, to be honest.
Really? At all?
At all. When you said it, I was like, the show was, wait, a reboot of what? Like, I did not know what you were talking about. I still don't remember it.
Yeah. Well, it was done by the same company that made Reboot. It was called a company called Mainframe. But that's all they did at the time was just CGI animation. Which, again, at the time, it was groundbreaking. No, not everybody was doing it. So. Yeah.
Now, it's hard to find an actual hand-drawn cartoon nowadays.
Yeah. Like, if you say it's hand-drawn, you're like, oh, wow, who's doing that? Wow.
Yeah, it's so retro.
Right? But, well, yeah, what brought this on was, if you caught the very beginning of this episode, we had a nice little special introduction on this episode.
Plug?
Yeah, a plug. We went to a Comic-Con in San Antonio, and we met David K.
Yeah. Hell of a nice guy.
Super nice guy. Yeah,
I'm not just saying that. Like, of all the people I've met at these things, he really is up there.
Yeah,
one of the coolest guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. He is a voice actor from the show. He played Megatron.
Yeah, still working.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? Actually, I was just randomly. I saw his name at the credits a week ago. So I was watching on an episode of Last Week Tonight.
He doesn't. Yeah.
With John, they do like fake commercials, fake trailer, whatever. And I guess he was like he was like the voiceover guy for that. But I was looking at because he had a bunch of celebrities in it, and I was reading the credits, and I saw a bunch of celebrities, and then right next to it, Mr. K right there with him. I was like, holy shit, he's still around. And I went back so I can listen to it again, and it didn't sound like Megatron to me.
Yeah.
But Megatron is and I loved Megatron's voice. What he did with
yes.
it. I'm not just saying that because he was so cool.
If I've never met the guy or whatever, I wouldn't even.
He turned the simplest word, probably the word we use more than any word in the English language, into a catchphrase.
Yeah.
He turned
Yes.
one word. Usually a catchphrase has to be something. Did I do that? I want to dip my balls in it. But he took yes and then made it a catchphrase on the power of that elongated not the S but the E. I don't know. Yeah, so memorable. Megatron. I loved Frank Welker. Who?
Right. Yeah. You watch your mouth. No.
Sorry.
No, but yeah, David K as Megatron. It was a different take on a villain. I thought at the time.
Different take on Megatron.
Definitely for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Really dramatic. The way he would move his little, especially when he was in T-Rex form. He looks. Okay, they spent a lot of time as animals,
right?
Talking. And it looked a little silly at first to see, like, this is like Animal Farm over here. Just 2 legs bad, 4 legs good. And as he in his T-Rex form, it would almost look silly to see him act diabolical with his teeny hands. But the way he's moving his little hands, and it's so funny.
Yeah, it was.
It was so funny and so memorable, and yeah.
And it was funny because he told us.
I mentioned how I loved the way he wiggled his fingers in like one of the first episodes, and he was saying he was in the booth. Yeah. Acting it out and stuff, and they literally animated him from his physical performance, which is cool.
And it translated so well.
The little fingers, the way he wiggles.
And that was a thing throughout the whole series, like the little.
Yeah.
But
you never found the talking animals a little in at least the first few episodes before either you got used to it or before they changed. But when they were just straight up, Optimus walking like a gorilla, looking kind of silly,
Well,
it's a talking gorilla. What is this, Congo? Come on.
It's, well, no.
I don't know. I mean, I was just watching it. It doesn't last long, or you get used to it really fast. Yeah. But the first 2-3 episodes, I was like, looking at a rhino walking and talking and a rat walking and talking.
I think I just suspension of disbelief on that one. It was just...
No, I mean, I get it. They took on beast forms because they needed to protect their bodies. I mean, I get the practical reasons, and yeah, rather than cars, we need to separate ourselves from the old ones, so let's make them animals. Mm-hmm. But the animation, maybe it's because it was a little clunky for the 90s. Yeah. It just looked a little funny to me.
Yeah,
but it did the best with what they could do.
Oh, sure.
I'm not knocking them on it. That was just something I noticed in retrospect.
Yeah, and going back to the animation with it being CGI, since it was kind of groundbreaking, if you go back and watch his earlier episodes, you can actually gradually see the progression of the technology.
Yeah, the first few. That's also it's not just. I mean, the animation it exponentially got better. In 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So when you look at those first ones that I'm talking about, it's not just that the animals look silly; it's everything looks.
There's it's all a waste. Like the background, it's all just brown.
Yeah, like a bush or a rock.
Yeah, and by the 3rd season, there's bountiful
jungles. There's butterflies just flying around.
There's everything
flowers and yeah. It really if you ever give the show a chance and you're sort of struggling through the first few episodes, this looks so lame and dated. It gets better. I'm like that guy on YouTube. It gets better.
Yeah,
it gets better.
But let's talk real quick about the concept, the story of the show itself, because we kind of jumping over into some of the characters and things like that. But the story itself about some explorers, the Maximals. They're in a ship. They accidentally lock on to these criminals.
I thought that they were sent, they were the closest ship in the vicinity, and they sent them to go track Megatron.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah,
Megatron stole the golden disc,
right?
Which is an actual thing,
right?
Yeah, which I didn't know at the time. I didn't realize the golden disc is actually something we put on one of those. God, I wish I knew which.
Voyager.
Was it Voyager?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. The Star Trek Voyager.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. The one that Red is captain of. It kind of opens very similar to the original cartoon when you think about it. The 2 ships in space both get shot down and both crash land on a planet.
Yeah.
So right away you're like, okay, this is
Transformers.
This is Transformers. Yeah.
And they did a good job of teasing you of who the characters are in that first little scene.
You only see their eyes in
yeah.
shadow.
Yeah.
So every character in the ship is like Darkman. You could just just barely get a glimpse of their faces and stuff.
But they were very smart, I would say, about just that first 30 seconds. They're already crash landing, and what does he say? Jettison the stasis pods, and you see all these little
pods in orbit around the planet they're on.
Which is going to come into play throughout the whole...
Yeah, it becomes a very constant...
Because those are future toys.
Yes.
That you've got to tie into.
Got to tie into the toys.
Yeah, so that's a good way of... a good element of tying in, or able to bring in new characters for the purposes of promotions,
Because it's, these are great cartoons, but they were really made to be half-hour commercials for the toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But then once they crash land on
the planet,
which we don't know where's that, right?
Until they see the Statue of Liberty,
right?
And Optimus is like, "You maniac! You blew it up!"
In gorilla mode, right?
As a gorilla. Oh, yeah. There you go. Okay, whatever. No, it's Una and Chap. Those little.
Oh yeah.
No, okay. Now we're really jumping ahead. Yeah, so they land on a planet that is rich with energon.
Too much energon.
Too much of a good thing.
Right.
So they have to create alternate forms based on the local
creatures.
Yeah. So they scan all the local creatures. They scan fossils, wherever, to create animal forms.
Right.
Again, very similar to what the Transformers did. They sent the little antenna and they scanned 18-wheelers and F-14s to create alternate forms.
Sky Spy.
Yeah. So again, this is kind of following the premise of the original.
Yeah.
So you're feeling comfortable, this is foreign, but it's still familiar.
And by coincidence, all the good guys are warm-blooded creatures, and all the
Maximals.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, mammals.
Yeah.
Maximals. So.
And all the Predacons, they're cold-blooded creatures, I guess.
Well, we don't know what dinosaurs were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they could be.
Good point.
Yeah, never know. But they're, I guess, predators.
Right.
Is what you could say. And this is something that always kind of bothered me, I guess, is they all get kind of randomly assigned an animal form.
Right.
That conveniently sounds exactly like their name. Or did they change their names after they got a body?
I took it as they changed their names.
Who does that? I don't buy a new suit and, hey, call me Giorgio Armani from now on or something like that. You don't. Although when they were introducing themselves, it's like, I'm a cheetah. No, I'm Cheetor.
Yeah.
He changed his name for that?
Yeah.
Like, did he not have a name? What would his parents think? I gave you that was my father's name I gave you, and you just go ahead and change it all willy nilly.
There was a
Rat Trap is a rat,
right.
Rhinox is a rhino, who else? Waspinator is a wasp, Tarantulas is a tarantula. You see what I'm getting?
Yeah.
It's either convenient or they all changed their names.
Pterosaur is a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Scorponok is a scorpion.
Scorpion. Yeah.
There was a little fan fiction that was floating around there around the same time. It was like a little prequel or something.
I remember that. I read that.
And they tied into that.
Their names were like Cheetor was just named Etor.
Yeah.
And then he conveniently turns to a cheetah and just has a ch.
Yeah.
So it becomes Cheetor.
Yeah.
Right? There was something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, there was
like his name was Inox.
Yeah.
And he just happens to go rhino, so his name happily so I was like, so that's that's not much better when you think about it. But I did read that fan fiction in high school. Gosh, while I was not getting laid.
We printed it out in the printer and had to read it.
It had those tabs with the circles.
Yeah, right.
Then you tear those perforated tabs. God, I hated loading a printer.
Right?
That had those little grindy wheels that you had to line up with. Oh, that was the worst. And it gets jammed.
Yeah.
Why does it say paper jam when there is no paper jam?
You had to use your hands. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, we're really getting... so the names, whatever. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Now, one cool thing about this show is, like you said, it was the Maximals and the Predacons. At any given point, this show never had more than like a dozen characters, tops.
Right.
And it was just the one... Like, you turn into Ninja Turtles, it could be Rat King, could be Leatherhead, could be who's the villain this week, or whatever. It was always about these two teams, same characters, every episode, so you got really invested in these stories, because it was just the same characters over and over and over again. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh, it gave time for the writers to flesh out everything.
Yeah, so you got really invested in the Beast Wars. They refer to that all the time, like, it looks like we've won the Beast Wars, and this is enough power to win the Beast Wars. They were always name-dropping that.
Yeah. Now, the first season, it was longer than the other two seasons. This was a full, 26-episode season?
If you say so.
Yeah, and so they had a lot more, what's the word, filler episodes, or just kind of one-off to where
in the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of...
Yeah, like that episode, clearly you could have taken it out, and it would have not affected the series as a whole.
Which is what's kind of commonplace for cartoons, It's okay to have one-offs for the whole series. But this show, and again, this is going back to the 90s where, like, Batman and Gargoyles and Conan and now Beast Wars, they were taking a starting point and running a whole story arc to the very end. And, man, what a story it was.
In the beginning, first season, there was a few handfuls of, you could take, like Guerrilla Warfare, where he gets injected with that rage virus, and then they cure him at the end.
Yeah.
And you literally could... not that it's a bad episode, but you could literally just take that one out, and it wouldn't affect the story.
Yeah, there's quite
overall.
a few of those,
Yeah. But they go blind.
Yeah.
Anyway, although Dinobot freaking out, that he's blind, that was kind of funny.
Alright.
And then you get Rhinox as a rhino meditating. like all meditating, but he's a rhino. I love this show.
Let's talk real quick about some of the voice acting on this. We mentioned David Kaye.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to take the reins on this one, man.
I'm gonna mention one guy, Scott McNeil. He's done the voices for probably half this cast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He did the voice for Dinobot.
Mm-hmm.
He did the voice for Waspinator. He did the voice for Rat Trap. He did the voice for Silverbolt.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's...
Yeah. He's like the Hank Azaria of the show.
Yeah. So he's like the MVP, I guess, of this show. And he's actually gone on record to say this is his favorite work he's done.
Yeah, those are all really good. They're all good characters. Well, Scorponok, I could take or leave. But they're all really good characters. And those were all good characters.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Gary Chalk, he did Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah. And we mentioned David Kaye. He did Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Who did Tarantulas, do you know?
Actually, there was another guy listed for, like, I guess they changed up the voice for him, but Scott McNeil finished up doing his voice too. So.
For Tarantulas? I never knew that there was another guy.
There you go.
Because, again, David K. mentioned that, they took some of his physical movements and incorporated it. He said whoever, I'm assuming maybe the first guy, but the guy who did Tarantulas, he would physically, like, make those noises and act out that little thing, and that's cool, too.
Yeah, and he said that, they did it all in one session.
They got all together as a
group
cast.
session. Yeah. And that's what Batman did, too, right?
Yeah, they said they're in. Yeah, some cartoons like Daria, they do one at a time.
Yeah,
and you just need to have a talented voice director to sync it all together. But yeah, some shows will get together as a cast like that.
And I bet it makes for a better experience.
To literally play off somebody like that. Yeah.
Now, one thing about the show, besides the characters and everything like that, is what do you want to say, like maybe the tone of the series. I don't know. There was more of
Use your words.
Yeah.
Like the funny tone or the fourth wall tone or the.
There's a little. I mean, they tried to do a little bit of everything, but yeah, there was a lot of breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Humor. Of course, there's some some lowbrow humor, I guess, on some things, but. Like
when Rhinox got that virus that made him fart all the time.
Yeah.
And Meg's like, no, not that. and he farts.
Big atomic bomb. Yeah.
Or Waspinator finds Spiderbot and tear him a new waste disposal unit. which is, Beast Wars, I'm gonna rip you a new asshole, motherfucker. Well, I guess I added the motherfucker.
Well, speaking of that, slag was a word that they like to use.
Slag. Yeah.
They had their own curse words. How cute.
But yeah, there was a few, I think, where Black Arachnia stole Waspinator's tail. And he's like, you emasculating fembot. And then click, he snips the end of his metaphorical penis. You emasculate. I love Rat Trap's names for everybody. Or Waspinator's name. Doggybot. Spider Two Head. He always had like a really simple name for everybody, which was a fun running gag. Yeah. Anyway.
But, they try to go a little bit deeper with the character development. Mainly with, I want to say Dinobot was a good example. Yeah, he kind of, he started out evil, but then like in 10 minutes, he decides not to go good. He was like Spike in Buffy. It's not that he's good, he's just, the evil in the show was an evil he'd rather fight than the good guys. Yeah. Sort of like that. He was still kind of a bad guy. He was still always like, leave him, he's almost dead. Like, we don't leave ours behind, then you're a fool. He was still always a Predacon at heart, willing to, but it was his code of honor. His sense, I have my honor. Yeah. That was always a big thing with him, which made him one of my favorite characters. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you could just see, redemption, not redemption, but it was a change of his...
Yeah, as a Predacon, his spark... I think he earned a place in the Matrix. If I may get really nerdy.
Dude, we're doing an episode.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he was one of my great. Would you have rather they not brought him back?
Yes,
I think so too.
I think
as cool as it was to sort of like, hey, more Dinobot.
Yeah,
I kind of liked how he ended it. His story,
Yeah, it wasn't until we mentioned the first season. It was kind of hit or miss on some of these episodes, but by the end of the first season, leading into the second season, I think that's when they got a little bit more structured.
Was the beginning of second season the whole Transmetal thing?
Yeah,
and
that's what it started. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Which there's only two of them. Season cliffhangers. Mm-hmm. They either killed off characters or you don't know what was going to happen with the characters. They left it open-ended like that on purpose, just in case Hasbro told them to wipe off some of these characters.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Hasbro didn't like Scorponok and Pterosaur.
Actually, they didn't like... I found this out. They didn't like Waspinator. Waspinator was going to die instead of Pterosaur. But because Waspinator was gaining some popularity, they said, let's keep him and get rid of Pterosaur.
Pterosaur was basically Starscream.
Yeah.
He was a Starscream.
And he had his own Spotlight episode. There was an episode early on that was called Power Surge. Yeah. Where he got some extra energon or whatever. And
yeah. Pterosaur was okay, but it's just because he reminded me of you need that character, that one who's always trying to usurp.
Yeah. And he tried. God bless him.
Yeah.
He tried.
But I guess I'm calling him the Starscream, and it's kind of ironic that we got to see Starscream in this.
Yes,
in a fairly early episode, I think.
It was kind of teased.
Technically, we saw Starscream in episode 3.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I say. It was teased in a little dream sequence thing
of Cybertron, and the camera's on. You just see him flying.
And
but
that right there, if there was an internet back then, it would have broke the internet.
It would have. That's what would have done it.
Yeah,
back then. Well, actually, probably because the only people on the internet in 1997 would have been nerds.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
As soon as we were able to dial up that internet, we would have
they would have broken AT&T because everybody had dial-up. But yeah, so we get a little glimpse. I think that might have been the first straight-on reference.
Yeah.
Outside of just, metaphorical, these are two ships that crash on this plane. Outside of that is a straight-up, hey, you remember Transformers? Because it shows the Decepticon symbol.
Right, yeah.
Everything like that, yeah. If there was any question as to whether or not this existed in the same universe as our beloved Transformers, that was done in the episode 3. That might have been why they did it. They might have just wanted to make it really clear this is a shared universe here. They're getting a jump on all the other shows that are living in similar universe. Sequel shows.
Which it was revealed later on that these two teams, Maximals and Predacons, they're actually descendants of Autobots and Decepticons. This takes place 300 years after the original.
Let me just ask. It's kind of jumping the gun, but it's so random. There's a scene where they refer to Tarantulas as. Tarantulas says he has different ancestry, and I think as Megatron refers to him as Unicron's spawn.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
No.
You can't? Oh, well, I literally was like hoping you would, because I don't get that, and I thought if anybody would know.
They never explain it. I don't know.
Not even in some go write some fan fiction to explain it, because I need an explanation.
I
wasn't aware there was like a third lineage out there.
From the Quintessons, I don't know.
Maybe I'll buy it. Anyway, okay, fine. We're losing. We're losing what few listeners we had left. Okay. Well, yes. So they are descendants, this plays a lot with time travel tropes, as far as changing the past, affect the future.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, there you go. This show does that quite a bit later on. Again, jumping the gun.
Well, yeah, it's 300 years in the future, but
Transformers future.
But when we first this planet that they're on, turns out it is Earth.
This planet is some random planet. It's got 2 moons.
Right? Yeah.
How could it? It's some alien planet. They say it all the time.
Yeah.
There's alien artifacts on this planet, which sets up really early. The pilot episode.
Yeah.
They come across. Was that Stonehenge or was it? Okay. So this takes place in Europe. I always wondered geographically,
like where.
I would love to see a map of prehistoric. Well, it would look pretty much the same, and say like this is where the standing stones are. This is the floating island. This is where all this stuff geographically as it pertains to our planet.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, this show dragged out that this is an alien planet, 2 moons, alien artifacts all over the place. The aliens, as they're referred to, is a long time, is a big presence.
It wasn't until the 3rd season they actually gave them a name.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what is such a simple name for such a
arrogant race?
Yeah. But yeah, they're a constant presence throughout this whole series, from the pilot episode to damn near the finale. Is just this mystery alien race who's just screwing with them.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's almost like they see they're using Earth as a testing ground or to do experiments on. It's almost like Earth is this alien's laboratory.
Yeah, they said it was an experiment, but
and these the Maximals and Predacons are invading their lab and fucking their shit up. We haven't been the best. We haven't been the best tenants.
Yeah,
he refers to it. Yeah, so that's a cool ongoing theme throughout it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first season finale, I guess they revealed, well, again, more glimpses and things of how it could connect to the original storyline. There's an image of Unicron's head, which that was kind of a big.
Was that the end of the first season?
Yeah,
I thought it was the second.
No.
When there's that big dome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was first season.
Oh. Okay, you're right. I was about to jump in. I think I know it. Yeah, you're right. Okay, fine. So that big thing, that big dome, that was at the end of the first one?
Yeah. The big green dome that Optimus was stuck in? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so fine. Unicron's head.
Yeah.
But it's just they just chose that form because they think you'd recognize it.
Right. It's a figure you fear or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It was like when Colonel Kurtz appeared to Homer Simpson because they knew Homer I'm not actually Colonel Kurtz. I'm just assuming his form. because they knew he'd recognize it. It was kind of like that.
They should have done that too.
Okay. Oh, so that was the first one. So is that when they were revealed that one of the moons is actually just like a big cannon?
Yeah.
Meant to like shoot and exterminate the Earth, Independence Day style.
Yeah, it was a cleansing or whatever they call it.
Like the experiments failed. Just purge it. And okay. Yeah. And that's when Optimus takes the pod and flies it up.
Yeah.
That was all at the end of the first one. Because way early on, Tarantulas I need this pod.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. Tarantulas but okay, we should say those stasis pods throughout they start to come into play.
Right.
First we get Tigatron.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, he looks exactly like Cheetor, so that's boring.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
And secondly, he talks like this, and he's like a pacifist who won't fight. So that's boring. I could have done without Tigatron.
Yeah. You usually skip over the Tigatron episodes.
Yeah. Then we get Black Arachnia, who gets reprogrammed. All the pods are maximal protoforms, right? So they're like a blank disc.
Yeah, they're putty, pretty much.
But you could reprogram them to be Predacons if you get to them first, and then we get Black Arachnia. And is that all we get in the first season?
No, we also get Air Razor.
Oh God!
And
Inferno.
And Inferno. Which I like Inferno.
I like Inferno. Who's got he's an ant. He's a fire ant.
Yeah.
Who still thinks he's an ant.
Not all of them. Yeah.
He's misguided, but his loyalty is without question.
Yeah.
Because Megatron gives him an order. He's like, "Yes, my queen. I wasn't aware you've given yourself a new title." He always call it. I wish he would stop calling me that.
Yeah.
He always refers to their base as the colony.
Yeah.
For the royalty.
Yeah.
He's all He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure the voice actor had fun just playing that.
Yeah. So the whole time Tarantulas is trying to get these pods, but you're like, why? Because Tarantulas is always scheming. He's almost like he's kind of like a Starscream who doesn't want. He doesn't want the mantle.
He's got his own plan.
But he's way more undermining than Pterosaur ever was.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the mantle of leadership. But he was told. Yeah, he was doing his own thing. And then we learn episodes later. Again, it's like planting seeds. Why does Tarantulas want this? Way episodes later. Oh, he's building an escape pod.
Yeah.
And that's when Optimus takes it and gets exploded.
Right. Yeah. So, because Megatron he knew what Tarantulas was doing, and he was planning on killing Tarantulas.
That's the spider. Yes.
Yeah. So once he found out that Optimus was there, even better.
Yeah. Because he shows up on the little screen on the thing. Yeah. So they tried to exterminate us with like a laser.
Yeah.
And Optimus deflected it with his pod, and that caused like a big radiation surge that changed their bodies.
Right. The original ones that were landed on there first.
Yeah.
The original crew, pretty much.
Except Scorponok and Pterosaur fell into the lava and died. And Rhinox and Dinobot were in like the CR chamber.
Yeah.
And they were protected from it. So we only get like two new good guys. 3, I guess, because Optimus comes back.
Right.
So now we get some new toys.
Right.
We get new Transmetal forms. 3 good guys, Rat Trap, Cheetor, and Optimus. And then we get a new Megatron, and is that it?
Tarantulas
gets Transmetal, that's right.
Well, you mentioned a couple of things. There's some, I guess, new tropes they introduced to the Transformers lore from this series. One was the spark. Mm-hmm. I think that was the first time that was ever mentioned anywhere.
Yeah.
That's been, ever since Beast Wars, that's been a thing in Transformers everywhere.
It's like their souls. Even Michael Bay's movies have sparks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Bay says it's...
Do they? Now that I think about it. Did they say sparks?
Shit, I don't even know.
Anyways. Who cares? It's Michael Bay.
Yeah.
That's not canon.
This is the first time I remember hearing about CR chambers.
Do they use that in other things?
I don't know, but this is a good... It's a good plot divider.
To explain how they fix it. They have... my internal repairs will fix this.
Yeah. But, they have tanks and CR chambers and things like that to repair themselves, which is a good thing for Waspinator. Because he's like Kenny. He dies every single episode.
For real. And after a while, they start to get like almost cartoony with his death.
Oh,
He gets squashed flat as a sheet of paper.
And he kind of falls down.
Yeah, or like he gets like shredded to where he's literally just like strips floating in the air. Like, they got kind of cartoony with
I think
him.
the 3rd season, he actually came out with a sling and he had a Band-Aid on his face.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun messing with him.
Yeah.
Waspinator. Poor Waspinator. Well,
Yeah. Who laughs last, right?
Was always referring to himself in third person. But I was going to say earlier, there's an episode where he gets possessed by Starscream's unkillable Spock.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned that episode last time. But that was like a really cool episode. Like, holy shit, Starscream.
Yeah.
Air Commander of the Decepticon Army.
Yeah, if there's any ever doubt that this wasn't part of continuity, there you go. There's a character pretty much in full form, I guess. But
anyway, who is your favorite Maximal?
It's always a toss-up between Rat Trap and Dinobot.
Yeah, Rat Trap got more to do, but Dinobot did more with his time. I love Dinobot was so cool. He fought with melee weapons. Like, he always had his sword and that swishing thing. Like a yeah, I know, but I mean, it was like nobody else went into battle with actual, like, melee weapon. You know, like he's like a gladiator with a trident and net, or something like that, or a sword and shield. You know, he was that, like, old school kind of a fighter. I mean, yeah, he had lasers and shit, but I always thought that was kind of... At first, I didn't get it. Like, why is he using swords? He's got lasers in it. But after you watch it a few times, it's cool that he goes into battle with his sword. And
there's a scene in the pilot when he's challenging Optimus for leadership of the Maximals
with his sword.
And there's a quick little shot, like, when he's, like, going back and forth with the sword. It's like he's just smiling, like he's
he's having fun with it.
Yeah. But yeah, Dinobot was
but he had they all had now the lasers in this were really weak. At best, they would knock you down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time somebody gets shot, it was like nobody ever died from getting shot with lasers.
Yeah, that was one thing I did notice going back was, man, Optimus got, like using those jetpacks that he had, like, every time you go up in the air, you get shot down.
No. Yeah,
that was like a repeating motif.
When he's flying around, is it a bird? Maybe a plane. No, it's Optimus! Yeah. That's another thing. The show had jokes like that was kind of almost silly. They were almost silly. Like, I remember there was one episode way towards the end, like one of the last ones, where one of Megatron's quick strike had just betrayed him. So they're having a trial, and Megatron is wearing one of them old-timey judge wigs. Yeah. Like, where did he get that?
The revolutionary
wig, and he's got the gavel, and he's wearing one of those old-timey... Like, why would he put that? It looks hilarious.
Yeah.
But by that 3 seasons in, you're like, whatever.
Yeah, you accept it.
Yeah, you accept it. That's kind of just a silly humor. But that trial of Quick Strike was fun. And you got Inferno in the background. Like, he's like stenographer. He's like typing away. Like, I don't even know which was funnier of those two. Just seeing him in the background of the... There's another gag, now that I'm just thinking of it. It's one of my favorite visual gags in the show, where Megatron sends Waspinator and Inferno off to go build a jamming station somewhere. Almost like busy work. And Megatron's in his, like, jacuzzi, and they're on the monitor, and, like, Waspinator is like, it's almost built, and you see Inferno just flying around it, and he's like, yes, radio me when you're back. And then he sort of turns away, and you see on the screen, like, the tower starts to fall down. You see Waspinator like, ah! And then it just goes to static, and Megatron's not even looking as it happens behind. Oh, it's such a funny visual gag. There's a lot of good, like, just visually. Maybe the animation lends itself to it. Like in an early episode when Pterosaur says, like, Waspinator goes, Rat Trap is a traitor, and Pterosaur says, my lieutenant, Rat Trap. He waves with his little rat paw.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes me laugh. Or when that security camera is, like, scanning the grounds, and there's, like, a cactus, and it passes the cactus, and when it passes it again, it's a lot closer. And it swoops past it again, it's a lot closer, and you realize Dinobot's, like, dressed as a cactus, sneaking towards the camera, but it's all from the camera's point of view. Yeah. God, that is such a funny visual gag.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. This show sometimes was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Just going back and watching it again, I was laughing.
I mean, the writing is hilarious, but the way they were... the animation lent it to just some great...
There's a lot of humor
jokes.
There's a lot of humor for adults, I think, in this show. There's a lot of slapstick stuff, with Waspinator especially, but...
there was a Sock'em Sock'em fight with, like, Rhinox and one of them, and they're literally like punching, and then boom, and he knocks him. I think Inferno.
And then Megatron has,
and it goes up. Yeah,
Megatron pushes his head back down, and he does the little.
Yeah, but it's like you're like, holy shit, that's fucking Rock and Sock'em.
Yeah,
yeah, it was Rhinox and Inferno if I remember it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and, like, there's another scene. I should talk for visual gags for a second. Where, like, Dinobot, I think Rat Trap and Cheetor or trying to hold off like 7 of them, and they're all behind this rock, and they're like, and then they think they're gone, so they grab like a little rock, they throw it in the air, it gets shot to shit, it falls down as a pebble, and then you see all 3 of their heads like duck down just to stare at the pebble.
Well, then their eyes like...
Yeah, their eyes, but their 3 head. Like, why would they really do that?
Right.
Why would they bend over to look? Because it's like what you would do in a Looney Tune cartoon.
Yeah.
That kind of physical reaction to that is like totally like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
Level of physical comedy that they're starting to do.
But in that same episode that you just referenced, there was I don't want to say it's a gag, but it's just kind of a theme. It's like a kind of a spaghetti western theme.
Yeah, the slow motion. Like,
yeah.
kind of a thing, and it doesn't even like fade to a sepia tone or something as it's just to be continued. Yeah, they were really.
Well, it was funny because Megatron was waiting for his crew to come in. He's got a little sundial.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's waiting for high noon.
Yeah,
to come around. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that. That's funny. Anyways, so yeah, this show, some great humor in it. Both the writing and the visuals. It's really, really funny.
There was one thing I did have a question about it. Going back and watching it, I actually forgot about this, but was there like something they never really explored with Megatron? Because there was a few scenes that he would start laughing and he would start coughing, and there was one scene where he had like IV energon IV going to his arm.
I do not remember that.
You don't remember those? And he's always taking those baths. The little.
But I always thought he was just like it was a jacuzzi thing.
Right.
Like he's gonna be relaxing in jacuzzi.
His toes were like
his toes were sticking. Yeah, I always thought it was more of like a hedonistic.
But there's two. He's
like hedonism bot. Like go build the jamming station. Well, he's eating grapes peeled or something. I was kind of took it like that. I don't remember an IV thing.
There's two specific scenes. One, he's talking to Megatron or he's talking to Inferno, and he starts laughing and he starts coughing like right after, like he's getting sick or something. This is on the first season. And then there was another scene where he's got little IV stuff in his arm.
You know what? Like I said, I've only seen these on VHSs. Maybe it just didn't look that clear that I didn't notice it. They used to be on Netflix.
Yeah,
they pulled them. Yeah, I had to watch some of these again on my. It's actually like a VHS tape looks clearer on a old school square TV with the junk in the trunk than it does on like a high definition TV.
Really?
It does. Because like a couple years ago, I had an old school TV set up, and I noticed like. VCR stuff looks better on those screens than it does on like an HD TV. Maybe because it's smaller, so it looks clearer. Because rather than trying to stretch it out to a gigantic TV like I have, you lose some resolution trying to make it so big.
Yeah. And
because it's a tape and it's like a copy of I don't know. So the animation does look really good, but I haven't seen it look that good in years because all I have are VHSs.
Yeah, so there was a lot of funny gags and that kind of thing in this show, but man, they knew how to turn it up a notch when it came to like the more serious side, or maybe when it comes to like killing off characters or just different aspects of the story. So
this show more than a lot of other shows. Like, didn't I say last time that? Did I say what? I think I made a joke about this. Whatever, I won't make the same joke. But yeah, they kill some people. Sorry. I think was the first ones to die, like when I said in the season premiere, like in the first 5 minutes, and I actually had to be like, wait a minute, what happened? Did they just die? Pterosaur and Scorponok like fell into some lava.
Yeah,
that was
season 2.
Like the opening credits are practically still going on,
right?
Like the executive producers and stuff, and then you see just like them fall and their hand, like Terminator 2, like Pterosaur's hands just sinking in the lava, but no thumbs up.
Right.
And I was like, did they die? I mean, like, the floor of their base was lava all the time.
Right. That's why they had to go around those little hover.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's a safety hazard, Put some cones up, so, So I always figured if they fell in lava, it wasn't the biggest thing in the world. So I wasn't even aware, like, wait a minute, are they dead?
Yeah.
Like, and then I realized, like, oh my god, like, almost the end of the episode, I guess they killed them. It was kind of unceremoniously done.
Well, even Black Lightning, she says, I don't see Pterosaur and Scorpion.
She says, I don't see them with you, but maybe it's because they're in the CR chamber or something. Yeah. Or in that jacuzzi. Well, Maximals had the CR chamber, Predacons had, like, that jacuzzi.
The tanks,
yeah. So, again, it was not made clear to me that they were dead. It was not made clear to me right away. But but
that was just kind of one-off, really quick. You blink, you missed it type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they show Pterosaur's hand in the opening credits for like the whole.
Yeah, I guess that is a big deal. Who was the next one to eat it?
Well, we kind of touched on it before. I know you probably don't want to count this one, but Optimus, technically, he was the first one to die because he was killed off in the season finale, the first season.
Yeah, but I mean, when we're talking about the list of Buffy characters who died, would you say Buffy?
You could.
Asterisk.
Okay, without any asterisks in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was them two. Then maybe we're going to go with the big one. Dinobot?
Yeah. That was a good episode. What was it? Code of the Hero?
Code of Hero.
Code of Hero?
Yeah.
Code of Hero?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never heard it. Okay, fine. But yeah, sacrifices him, goes down like a boss,
right?
Takes on the whole Predacon team with just his weapons mostly. Yeah. I mean, he uses his lasers too. He goes in with an actual gun.
Yeah,
which is weird to see Dinobot literally carrying around a gun.
Yeah,
and he loses that. And he fights with his weapons, loses those.
Because in the whole second season, Dinobot, for all intents and purposes, he made a mistake. He gave back the golden disc to Megatron.
Yeah.
He gave him what they wanted.
He didn't know what was on it, though.
Yeah. But then once he realized his mistake and...
Well, they realize that they're actually on Earth in the past.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
Right.
Okay.
Once the second moon's destroyed, then that's when they figure it out.
And they figure out they're in prehistoric Earth.
Yeah.
And that gold disc has future information. So
About
Megatron
that,
can now affect the future and all that.
Right.
And he proceeds to destroy a valley of where the earliest humans were first starting to walk the Earth.
Right. Yeah.
So Megatron decides to exterminate this valley of the earliest humans, and therefore, without the humans' aid, Autobots don't beat Decepticons. Decepticons don't become enslaved to the Autobots, I guess, is what he says happens in the future.
In his villainous point of view, when they're right, they're enslaved.
Decepticons are enslaved now, and as their ancestors, they are now the lapdogs of the Maximals.
Right.
That's his big scheme.
Yeah.
As for Decepticon superiority, the master race of Transformers, if you will. Megatron is kind of an evil guy. I won't draw any more parallels than that.
I mean, wiping out a whole...
This is getting heavy.
What has nothing to do with it?
Why are things so heavy in the past?
But anyway, going back to the episode, Dinobot, he's got to, what do you say, mitigate the mistake or whatever? But,
yeah, and save the future.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, save everything. Like the space, everything that was and will be or whatever. Yeah. Or maybe they say that later. I don't know.
It is later, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Dinobot basically takes out the whole crew of Predacons, takes out Megatron with a rock. With a stick and a rock.
Yeah.
And then with his last dying breath, his computer is like 2% power. Must go into stasis lock. Override. He's fighting with no energy left. And with his dying breath, he blows away the golden disc and then collapses in slow mo. Oh yeah, it's pretty dramatically done.
Yeah, and not only that, afterward,
he gets the funeral.
I
mean his death scene.
Just the whole
he's like tell my story. To those who ask, tell it true. Let me be judged accordingly. Yeah,
and. I do want to back up just a second because throughout the whole show up until him and Rat Trap have had a buddy cop back and forth relationship this whole time.
Each other crap the whole time.
Rat Trap's the first one to arrive,
and he's holding his hand or whatever as he's dying, and Rat Trap is he's at least it's good to know where you stand. He's downwind of you, hopefully, vermin. And Rat Trap looks like he wants to say something, and then he just smiles I'll give you that one. Hey, Chopper Face, an actual comeback.
Not your best, but I see you're feeling better.
Yeah. But yeah, and then he died. His spark flies away, and like you said, we just started learning about sparks. He lived a warrior and died a hero.
Yeah.
And then they're burning him up on the funeral pyre, and then the three flyers give him the missing man formation.
Yeah.
Where they do the flyover with the missing. It's a whole military tradition, but they do that for Dinobot, who is a soldier. So it makes sense. It's like a 21 gun salute, but way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody can get a 21 gun salute. So yeah, really awesome. And he's dead.
Yeah.
He's gone. And they reference it for a few episodes. Something's about to happen, and Optimus is I'm not in the mood to lose any more friends. You know, because Dinobot just died a while ago.
Yeah.
Really well done. Who else? Who do we lose after that?
Do you want to count? Okay, the very next episode, they brought in this. It was transmutate. It was this weird.
Oh yeah. That's one I could skip.
Yeah, I did skip it.
You did skip that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
an episode you could pull out of the thing and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
It was a one-off episode. They introduced a new character that was don't even know what you want to call it, deformed or whatever, but Rampage and
Silverbolt.
Right, yeah, Silverbolt. They were trying to, I don't know what's the word.
Well, Silverbolt, just his gentleman code of honor, wanted to help protect the weak.
Yeah.
And Rampage saw this tortured soul's reflection in his own tortured spark. They each felt a kindred spirit.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then when the Transmutants died, even Silverbolt let Rampage, like, today we are brothers or something like that, because they shared the same thing. Yeah. That was kind of cool in the episode. With Silverbolt and Rampage had that thing, and the episode's mostly it's probably one of the weaker ones. Yeah. Transmutate. I wouldn't count that because I totally forgot about it until you said it.
Okay, so
there's Tigatron and Airraiser.
Okay,
we hoped that's what happened to them. Like, both of them get sucked up to space by the aliens, and for a long time we're like, I guess they died.
Yeah. Okay. Second season, they serve no. Like the first episode, they're like, okay, we're gonna go search for Energon or whatever, and they're like. That's it for like
they don't come back
for like 7 or 8 episodes. You don't see them, and then they finally meet up with them, and then they get sucked away by the aliens.
Yeah, and they're, for the most part, you're like, I guess they're dead because we don't see them forever
until the 3rd season,
and then it's like the aliens combine their 2 sparks to create a new toy, Tiger Hawk.
Yeah,
who doesn't last more than like an episode. Yeah. Anyways,
which I found out they killed him off so quickly because Hasbro told them to. They were told by Hasbro to kill him off quickly because they weren't sure if the toy was going to be released.
Okay. I mean, this show was about to end anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Let them last another episode. Let them go back to whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
So they do come back only to die for sure.
Yeah.
Immediately afterwards. Which I couldn't take any satisfaction because I hated Airraiser. I hated both of them. I wanted to see their characters die.
Yeah, you got you got shafted.
The satisfaction of what I thought was their death got deleted by breaking this new character, and then you kill that new character, but I don't even know him, so I couldn't relish that death scene. We should you mentioned Rampage as a character we got introduced to. Not a stasis pod. Almost every character got introduced because of a falling stasis pod.
Right.
Turns out the dark secret. The mission that the Maximals were on, they were currying a prisoner.
Yeah.
They're like federal marshals transporting
Protoform
prisoners.
X or whatever.
Protoform X, who was like this. He's like Hannibal Lecter, killer, unkillable spark guy. And then Megatron steals half of his spark and uses that to torture him, and that's how Megatron can control maybe the baddest guy around on the block, pretty much. Was Rampage, who was a crab,
literally an unkilling machine.
And then a little while later, we get a new character who follows through the portal of transwarp time, follows the signature. We get Depth Charge.
Yeah.
Did you like Depth Charge?
Not really. I mean,
he was kind of. I mean, he was always on his own agenda.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't see the greater good. He was just after X. He's always after X, which I thought was kind of cool. He was always calling him X. But we do lose both of those characters in a pretty badass way.
Yeah.
Like, they're fighting with, like, Energon swords, and he cuts Rampage, and you can see his spark. It's almost like a beating heart. Is exposed, and Depth Charge has, like, an Energon knife, and he's leaning over him, and he's slowly it's like that scene in fucking Saving Private Ryan where the Nazis ride over the Jew, and he's, like, slowly stabbing it in it. Oh, that is the worst scene to watch in Saving Private Ryan, when he's like, take this knife in and he even says, like, right into your heart, and he stabs him, and then they both blow up and die. That's probably like the rowdiest death scene of because that's like the first. That's like literally that was straight up murder. This wasn't everything, like people were shooting at Dinobot, but he died because he fell down and died. This was literally death at somebody's hands, knowingly. My intention is to kill you and stab you with a that's like the most premeditated straight up murder on this show. When you think about it,
I'll give you that. Yeah.
So that was a pretty gnarly one. Who else do we lose? After that, characters were dropping like flies
in the third season.
Towards the very end. The aliens killed Tarantulas, the Vok.
Yeah.
He's torturing Tigerhawk.
Right.
And then he like sends some ghost aliens out, and then they just blow up Tarantulas.
Yeah.
And then Depth Charge and Rampage, and then Tigerhawk dies, and then But then Inferno and Quick Striker in the valley, like, we're down here.
Oh yeah,
like we're down here. He doesn't even. I don't even think Megatron to this day doesn't even know he killed Inferno and Quick Strike. Which is funny that they have like this whole like the stakes have never been higher. Turns out Megatron finds the Decepticon
Nemesis.
The Nemesis. The stakes have never been higher. Meanwhile, Inferno and Quick Striker are trying to fight humans. Like they're waging this teeny little skirmish. Not even aware that the big.
They're trying to find a new colony.
Yeah, it's going on over here. Meanwhile, these guys don't even know what's going on. It's really funny. They're almost more unceremoniously killed off than.
And actually, that's a good scene for Waspinator too, because he's like, no.
He quits.
Yeah, he's like
Waspinator's
tired.
Yeah, I've had it up to here, and then they blow him away. And his head is... Yeah, both of them just like Pulp Fiction, where they just both raise their hand and just blow them away in the mid-sentence. Yeah, okay, well, we sort of skipped a big reveal.
Yeah.
Around, was it early, at the end of the second season?
Yeah. It was the big 3-part season finale of Season 2, called The Agenda, which we finally... We find through events from the first season finale, their whereabouts are going to be known to Cybertron, their present-day Cybertron. And the Predacons find out about it first before the Maximals do. And what they do, they destroy any signal that the Maximals will find, and they send their own warrior back in time to kill them all, pretty much.
To kill all of them,
yeah.
Decepticons included, right?
Yeah,
or Megatron included.
He said Megatron with extreme prejudice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's just there to erase everybody.
Yeah, and that's where we see. Another, I guess, the Decepticon, really.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah. Ravage. Reprogrammed.
I guess he's still a cat.
I guess.
But now he's like a robot who turns into a tape instead of... He's a robot cat.
Yeah.
He's like cat people. He's like sleepwalkers who transforms into a tape as opposed to a tape who transforms into a cat.
Yeah.
What do you... And, I mean, I guess they picked Ravage, I'm assuming, because Ravage was always teeny. He would have been the size of a human being. Because... Maximals, we should say they're a lot smaller than Autobots. Autobots were like giants who could squash people.
Yeah.
And Maximals are considerably smaller. They're arguably the size of gorillas and cheetahs and shit.
Yeah.
So Ravage would be about their size.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's why they could have just as easily picked Rumble or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe because Ravage looks cooler, I guess. I don't know.
I was chalked it up to size.
Yeah.
If they brought in an actual Decepticon, he would have been like giant and he would have kicked everybody's asses.
Yeah.
So to keep the playing field level, they chose the smallest Decepticon there was.
But we see him in this little stealth jet that he comes in.
Yeah.
Which I dubbed the Badass 9000.
Is that what it's called?
I saw that written somewhere, and I always laugh whenever I saw that.
Oh, okay. That was a cool looking ship. It was really curved, and he had like the 2 guns with the laser sightings. Laser sightings. That's for fools that can't even aim. Okay. And so he captures Megatron, and Megatron shows him footage of the actual Megatron. That was another big treat.
Yeah. That
we got to see the actual Megatron on video, delivering him to any of his soldiers that are scattered,
Which is funny, that was voiced by Gary Chalk, who did Optimus Primal.
Oh, really? That was him?
It's kind of funny.
I thought you were about to say Frank Welker.
Yeah.
And then I was like, really? And then you said Gary Chalk. I was like, oh, well, that's not as cool.
No, this was before the renaissance of the popularity of Transformers, before Michael Bay got his hands on it.
I know, they couldn't even get Frank Welker back. I mean, I like Hugo Weaving and all, but
yeah, it's not the same.
If you're going to get Cullen. Anyways. Yeah, so he switches sides, and then Optimus, I guess somehow he figures out on his own what they're after.
Yeah, I never really understood how...
He knew.
Yeah. But
like if they're after what I think they're after, like Optimus somehow figured out where they were and what they were after.
Megatron had the golden disc, so he knew what was going on. Like, how did Optimus know?
He's just that good.
Maybe he figured out once the second moon got destroyed. I don't know. But yeah, that was in part 2 of Agenda. Again, another scene that would have broke the internet back then. Decepticons Forever.
Yeah, that would have broke the internet.
Yeah, he transforms his little tape and then it goes into the little cassette player. Why it does that, I don't know.
Yeah, why do you need to control... Can't you just RoboCop spike your hand and control the ship like that? Why do you have to literally insert yourself into the...
As cool as that scene was, the fact that we saw him transform, is like, why did he transform into a tape?
Because he always turns into a tape.
Yeah, but should he turn... I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to be like, hey, he's still a tape. Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense, but it was cool. And,
exactly.
He didn't care.
But he then ends up getting killed off too.
Yeah, Rat Trap blows him up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then...
And they call Decepticons forever, and it all just blows up.
And then we meet up with Black Arachne and Silverbolt, who are excavating.
Yes, yeah.
To uncover something.
Yeah, the Ark.
The Ark. The ship.
Yeah.
The Autobot ship from the original cartoon.
Yeah.
Big yellow spaceship in a volcano. We all know it.
Right. That was good if you're listening to this.
Yeah. That was a big deal, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, like, what? Like, how did they ever establish how long it had been crashed?
No. Just that it was already there, but they didn't really say how long.
Because, I mean, in the original cartoon, it crashes, and then 4 million years later, they wake up.
Right.
So, presumably... I mean, they say we only have to... Like, we gotta guard this thing for 1 million years, give or take. But human beings are already starting to sort of come... So, I always assumed that it was like 350 million... And 3 million years, 900, some change. Because humans are starting to walk around. I mean, so a few hundred... I don't know.
I'm not good with math. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always assumed that they were there for at least a few million years.
But the cool thing about this was we see that, and then they end up going inside the Ark. It's like, oh shit, are we going to see like the old characters? And
yeah, and we do. But they're all dead. I mean, they're all in stasis
lock.
Yeah. But we see Soundwave, and we see Megatron, and we see Optimus, and we see who else do we see? Who else do we see?
I think Prowl was in there.
But like, there's a cool. Who is it? Where like Megatron's he's hovering, he's just floating through this tomb, and we see him through the reflection of somebody's eye. It's Starscream, right? Is it the reflect? Like he's just
one of them is Starscream,
and it's just a reflection of Starscream's eyes as you see Megatron. That's a cool, that's a cool little visual, and you really get a sense of, like I said, how tiny they are.
Yeah,
like Megatron is literally the size of Optimus's head.
Yeah, because he flies up to his head.
Yeah, and he's like talking to like a giant head of Optimus Prime, and he takes all of his power just to try and shoot like his head.
Doesn't try to
and blast it. Well, he just to try and kill him by shooting his head.
Yeah,
he tries to, but doesn't.
Well,
because they fix him. Because they turn on Teletron 1.
Ugh.
It's Teletran!
I'm glad they addressed that.
Yeah. Whatever, okay. But yeah.
But just the concept of that villainous plot.
Yeah, and that's like really tying it in to the old cartoon. At first it was just a nod here, a reference here. Hey, you remember this, kids?
Yeah.
Now this is literally, their new base is the Ark.
Yeah.
And there's always, I kind of wish that like they always worked at the front of the ship. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they were always just walking past bodies, and it was like just part of the background. Just like, oh my god, check out so and so just sitting back there,
right?
Just dead. It just would look cool, but it's always like, no, they're all in the closet, dead. Awesome stuff you'd love to be seen. We just never go there.
Yeah,
we just never go in that closet. So, that would have been cool if they'd done that, but they didn't. So yeah, the whole last season is spent basically trying to protect that ship.
Yeah,
from Megatron destroying it and screwing time. That becomes like that's his plot at the end, but that becomes his plot throughout the whole season.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, until for some reason they lose their base, right?
Who?
The Decepticons.
The Predacons?
Yeah, the Predacons.
Tigerhawk.
Tigerhawk blows up their base, right?
Yeah.
And that's when they're forced to find the Nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I'm not gonna say it got rushed, but like a lot happens in those last
3 episodes.
In those last 4, even before that, maybe like a lot of stuff started happening in the story. Do you think that they kind of were forced to wrap up?
I think so, because it was so rushed. I mean, going back and watching it again just now, I was like, man, everything's
like they told them, you guys are going to be out of money in like 6 months, so just wrap it up. And we're like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great ribbon and it wraps up perfectly.
It does,
but it kind of happened really fast.
I mean, Heroes.
If you look at the last 3 seasons, how a lot of things were like a slow build and a slow burn.
That's why season 3 is not really a favorite of mine. It's just
because it's so fast, or what?
Yeah, and it wasn't as, I don't want to say in depth or anything, but it was just especially season 2. They were on a more serious note on that whole season, and then season 3 was just kind of like you said, the Judge Wig and the Waspinator, and I don't know, there's a lot more cornier gags throughout the whole season 3.
What'd you think about that Covenant of Primus?
Rushed, yeah.
In the last 2 episodes, it just became a thing.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden, they have a religion.
Yeah.
Or something like that. There's like 2 copies of this Transformers Bible.
Yeah.
That they're both Optimus and Megatron are quoting throughout the whole last episode, and
this is forced. Yeah.
Like Dragon Butt loses his base, and then we add Thunderbutt there to the team, but you don't gotta claim it's ordained. I love that he called Tigerhawk Thunderbutt.
Yeah.
That just made me laugh. But yeah, the Covenant of Primus, and he even quotes a little Ezekiel 25:17. That was kind of fun. But yeah, at the end, they're both like just quoting Bible verses at each other, and it seemed kind of weird, maybe out of place. I don't know.
Now, see, when Dinobot would quote Shakespeare, that was cool.
Yeah, alas for Tarantulas, I knew him, Cheetor. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, I guess maybe it was a little bit rushed. I mean, I guess now that I've seen it so many times and I know where it's going, but if I was to sit down and watch this for the first time, it would be kind of like Angel. The way that series ended, just like, well, the last 5 episodes, you just wrap everything up really quickly, and people are dying, like dropping like flies in the last 2 episodes. You know, it's just like you kill off half the cast.
Yeah,
you know, things like that. I guess so. Yeah, maybe it was. I guess once you get used to seeing it, you know what's coming. You're just like, oh, this is the scene where this happens, and you just accept it. But when you stand back,
But yeah, that was the end of that series, which
that's the end of that chapter.
But overall, other than the flaws of for me for the 3rd season, I mean, obviously one of my top cartoon series of all time.
Yeah, you did an episode where you stated that.
Yeah.
Remember where you put it? Like 4? I think you put it at 4, 3 or 4.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was 3 or 4 for you.
Maybe It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I remember what your first 1 and 2 were, and I'm thinking this might have been 3.
It had to have been.
Yeah. Okay.
I try to ask you off air here, like, do you have like a top? Like, do you have a favorite episode or like a top 5 or whatever of this show? It's kind of hard. Like, I was trying to think of one.
I would really need to look at like a list. Like off the top of my head, Code of the Hero, I think is a really good one. Love Code of the Hero. Such a good episode. What, the one where Dinobot dies?
Yeah.
Gosh, I can think of some I don't like easier than I can think of the ones I do like, and it's mostly the ones in the beginning that you could have just pulled them out, like Dark Designs where Rhinox goes evil, or the one I said where they all get blind, Guerrilla Warfare. I guess the ones that are very. I think it's like maybe episode 3 or 4 where Cheetor gets teleported to their base, and then gets teleported back. Maybe it's just because those are so early and they don't go anywhere. Like they don't.
The early episodes was Cheetor getting in trouble.
Yeah,
or something to that extent.
Cheetor grew a little bit in this. Well, like he changed bodies twice, but they even said like robot puberty.
Yeah,
his voice changed and he started noticing girls. Kind of
Black Arachnia.
Yeah, I mean, Cheetor literally kind of went through an adolescence in this show and kind of had an arc.
And that was the thing.
More so than others.
I think this was the first time Transformers they actually had kissing and females and this and there's
sweet poison of my heart. Silverbolt and Black Arachnia had a hilarious, mostly Silverbolt.
Yeah,
the way that little trumpet like dun, 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 every time he said something heroic or took that heroic stance.
No, the one time where she says, "Do you think you can move that big boulder over there?" Stand back, citizen.
Citizen. I forgot that they always.
He puts the missiles up, blows it up, and it's like the big trumpets are playing.
Yeah, like she hides behind him, and he's still standing.
No, his eyebrow gets all big.
Citizen, I forgot all about that. Yeah, Silverbolt was. We kind of glossed all over him when he got introduced. The Fusors.
Yeah,
we got 2 characters who they were the only 2, but they were like 2 animals.
Fused into one.
He was like a wolf with eagle wings.
Yeah.
And Quick Strike was like a scorpion, but the tail was a snake.
Right.
And he was kind of fun. He was kind of like a Western villain.
That was pretty good.
Oh yeah. He reminded me of Pete from Briscoe County. Like nobody touches Pete's piece. Quick Strike kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, your crazy spaghetti Western character. That's
he was kind of fun for that. Is there any other characters we just straight up didn't mention? I think that's everybody.
Worth mentioning. Yeah. Well, I think that is everybody actually.
Yeah.
We were talking about deaths. There was an episode in the 3rd season with Black Arachnia. She was wanting to get the upgrade.
Oh, she wanted to become a transmetal.
Yeah.
A transmetal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but they had to remove the Predacon shell program that made her a Predacon.
Yeah.
That was killing her or whatever, and that failed, and Rhinox couldn't do it because Megatron knew what they were doing. But anyway, so she dies pretty much. Like you can hear the
way Optimus dies.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I've never really liked Black Arachnia.
Yeah.
I don't know why. So when she died, I was like, fine. And then but I knew she wasn't going to really die. Yeah. I knew she'd come back. But there's one more death we forgot. Speaking of coming back, Dinobot.
Yeah.
Dinobot came back.
You asked me earlier if I liked it or not. But,
yeah, that the fact that they brought him back as an evil Dinobot. Well, we said Megatron took Rampage's spark and split it. No, he split it.
Right.
And he would crush it in his hand literally to cause him pain.
Yeah.
And then he put that spark in a Dinobot. So Dinobot was just as unkillable, just as evil. Man, and then when Rampage dies, it's like whatever it was that was tainting him goes with him.
Yeah.
And for a moment we get the old Dinobot who cares about his honor and does and for a minute there we get the old Dinobot.
Now, did that make anything better for you for seeing the old for a split second?
Yeah,
he redeems himself.
Yeah, it's almost like the show's trying to redeem him for tainting the image of.
Yeah, because he actually saves the day.
He does. He kind of saves the whole universe.
He gives the blueprints to
again, but like everything was happening so fast in those 2 episodes. I would rather they just leave Will alone. And he had such a great ending. It was such a good story with him, and to bring him back, I was like, you sort of tainted it and cheapens his death. There you go.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I wasn't a fan that they brought him back.
And even Optimus, like right before he dies, Optimus is like, save yourself.
Yeah. Because he's like, you dare defy me, and he says something like, I have my honor. Yeah. And when he says his honor, you're like, he's back and he's dead.
Yeah.
So
this is kind of hard to get into. I mean,
but that was, I guess, the last death was his.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, because once that's destroyed, it's like, we're done. We're going home.
We're going home! A quick montage of them wrapping everything up and getting out of there.
Yeah.
Like a 5-second, not even that long.
Because they have that Autobot shuttle.
Yeah.
Which they're like, it's not in the blueprints. It's not in the blueprints because they took it with them.
Yep.
It's a little back to,
Yeah. There's one thing that did bug me up until I found out what happened afterward. Megatron in 3rd season, he kind of steals a playbook from Optimus and takes Megatron's spark, puts it himself.
Oh, yeah.
And he becomes the new Transmetal...
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah. In the show, they never put Megatron's
I'm going to assume when they captured him, they took care of it.
You can assume it. There was actually a deleted scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was literally times where like, we got to kill him. Like, you can't kill him. Right. He's got the spark,
Tigerhawk, he wanted to kill him, and Optimus was like, no.
You can't kill him. So I'm going to assume when they captured him and tied him up, they took the spark back.
But I found out later on there was a deleted scene. I think it's on one of the DVDs somewhere.
Oh, okay.
That you can see that. So
yeah, and that never really bugged me. I just
just assumed it.
It was addressed enough that I'm gonna assume the show didn't just. If he took the spark and then they just never mentioned it again, maybe that would have bothered me.
Okay. But
clearly Optimus was aware of that spark. He didn't forget. So yeah, I'll cut him some slack there.
Okay. Well,
but Megatron got a new body. When you get a brand new body in this show, you are like it's like the star of Super Mario Brothers. You are invincible for the episode. You get a new body. When Black Arachnia shows up in her Transmetal, she kicks Rampage's ass.
Yeah.
When Shidor shows up and he's the Transmetal too, he kicks Dinobot's ass. When Dinobot shows up as a new Transmetal, if you got a new body, you are unstoppable for that episode.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing in this show.
Well, you got to put the spotlight on the toys. So.
Yeah.
I was trying to narrow it down, going back to what I was mentioning a little while ago about favorite episodes or whatever. Going back in my head, it's kind of weird you're throwing away this episode, but I'm going to throw this in here as one of my top episodes. First of all, I'm going to put Code of Hero on there. It's probably my favorite. But I'm also going to include Guerrilla Warfare.
Why?
I just really like this is just seeing Optimus like just taking out everybody without caring about anything.
I guess that's cool.
The opening scene with him and Dinobot.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
There's so many good scenes in that episode. So just as a standalone, I'm going to put that in my top list of episodes.
What about the ones with the human kids?
No.
You didn't like those ones? Although it is funny seeing Megatron trying to talk. Yes, now turn it close.
Oh,
get that right. No, not that. It is kind of funny seeing him trying to talk.
That's funny, yeah.
The mechanics to these little, like he picks up a wrench and then he's like putting it on his head. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I'm also going to include Victory.
Which one's that?
It was a few episodes after Guerrilla Warfare, but it's where they see the Predacons fighting and they blow up. They think they blew up.
Oh
their
yeah,
base,
yeah, yeah. That's
and they go pillage and plunder their.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's the one with the Shakespeare. Everything. That's a good one. There's a lot of good jokes in that one for sure. Yeah.
Just for the character of Dinobot, I really like that episode because he's like everybody's so happy. They're all Predacons are dead. They're gonna go home, and Dinobot's just over here like skulking. It's like,
he decides to stay behind.
Like if I go back, I'm gonna be a criminal. I'll be tried as a criminal, and so I'll stay here. And
I am Predacon despite our alliance. So,
that's there's so much good moments in that episode. Now I'm kind of cheating on the rest of these, but because there are multiple part episodes. But the agenda.
Oh well. Yeah, I could have said that.
Actually, I'm going to include all 4 episodes: Agenda 1, 2, 3, and Optimal Situation. There's the conclusion, the season 3 premiere.
Oh, okay.
Where they kind of wrapped up that episode. Also, I'm going to go with the pilot, the 2-part pilot episode.
Because it was just the pilot, or you really think it's good?
I'm going to say it was both, really.
I mean, for the purposes we said animation and all that, and it's a big kind of jarring shock to see these talking animals and all that.
But if they didn't do a good enough job with setting the premise of everything, we wouldn't have done a good job. So, I mean, they did a good job to get me watching the show. They set the pace for everything. That kind of stayed the course for the whole show.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
1,000 points of light. Stay the course. Yeah. I guess it did a good. The only issue
the foundation.
I have
it's the foundation of the whole show.
Like, the only thing I kind of took a little bit of issue was Dinobot. Like, why would the most hardcore Predacon go to the good guys, and why would they trust him? Well, looking back, we know they let him in. They let him on the team.
Yeah,
I mean they did. I mean, look what we know about Dinobot. Yeah, we know that he really did have on him, but I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I guess he like Optimus was hanging, and then he picks him up and lifts him up. He's like, "Wow, you'd won." He goes, "Yeah, you tripped. There'd be no honor in that." So I guess he kind of established he had a code, a code of the hero. Yeah, he had the code of the hero. Yes. Anyways, yeah, the pilot's pretty good.
And the thing with him and Megatron, I kind of took it as they've been at odds with each other for a while.
Primal. Why is his name Primal if he wasn't a gorilla?
I don't know.
It's again with those names; they just happen to conveniently.
But anyway, that's I think that's going to conclude that talk about Beast Wars.
Yeah,
they did try to carry on the show.
Tried.
Yeah, it's called Beast Machines. It's so bad.
I wish I could say more about it. I don't remember it. I think I caught the first 7 or 8, and then I kind of stopped watching them, and I've never gone back.
It doesn't get better.
I've never got. I mean, I'm kind of curious, just out of curiosity. I'll just go read the Wikipedia page and get the summary. That's all I really want to know.
Yeah.
What happened to this character? The fate. I just want to know the fate of the characters I knew and loved for 3 years.
That's gonna make you even more mad.
Probably right. Yeah. But yeah, I've never gone back and watched those. But I remember that video, that music video that introduced it. It's on YouTube. I watched it after I watched it. It's an evolution.
Oh, the theme song?
Is that the theme song? It's because the video. There's like a music video to it. It's like 2.5 minutes or something. I didn't know it was a theme song. And they're like, "I am transformed," instead of Max. Did it ever bug you that they had to say maximize and terrorize before they transformed?
Yeah.
Maximize. Like, I don't know. Maximize. Like, why do they have to? They have to literally say it.
Like, there's one scene where they're like, I think it was in Agenda when they're like he ejected them off the jet or the plane and they were all falling, and Optimus had to say flight mode, and he had to.
Yeah.
I was like, why did you like? Do you have to say that? I mean,
yeah, to fly. I mean, nobody else did.
Yeah.
Everybody else just flew.
Yeah.
Just fucking Inferno was always flying. Anyways, with his jet, he didn't have to see it.
It wasn't really consistent, so that's what kind of bugged me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the first first 5 episodes, do it because you want to get it over. That's who they are, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then after that, drop it.
Well, maximize and terrorize was a catchphrase.
Yeah.
You needed a catchphrase
for the kids, I guess.
Yeah, it's fun to say it. And when you're playing with your toys, maximize. Yeah. It was like the, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That kind of bugged me. Like when I first watched it for the first time, there's no sound.
Yeah.
There's no transforming sound.
Some of the transformations in the first season where they were animals was kind of weird and lame. Like, it didn't look like that. Like, particularly Dinobot.
Yeah.
His quote-unquote transformation did not look like he could be you know, the way his head came out of the middle and then I don't know. And then when they became Transmetals, the transformation became way better. Like, particularly Rat Trap, it looked like he would really move that way if he became a robot and stuff.
Something with the animators for that show, they all they had the early episodes, all they had to go off of was the toys. They didn't have any animated models yet, so that's why it kind of changed over time to where they modified the transformation sequences to make it seem cool, look better, I guess, on screen. So, which may not, it even said, which may not even make sense if you try to look at how it transforms.
Yeah, like with Dynamo, every time I saw him transform, it bugged me. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, his hand, like, were his arms his legs?
Yeah. Because
then he had, like, 5 claws. Like, he had opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
He had, like, 3 claws and 2, you know, but if they were I don't know. Like, if his hands were his legs, he had...
Just go with it, man.
Okay. How is Tarantula just a badass inventor when he literally has just, like, pinchers? How can he build things when he just has pinchers? Same thing with Black Arachne.
That was another thing that bugged me about the third season, about Tarantulas. Like, he just went back to status quo from the first season. Like, he was just a crazy inventor.
Yeah, that nobody cared but at least he got opposable thumbs.
Yeah, true.
So I liked that.
It's all about
but yeah, but in the beginning, him and Scorponok, like, how could Scorponok even, all he had was the pinchers.
Yeah.
How could they lift things and hit buttons and things? Yeah, Black Arachne and Tarantulas were supposed to be like the genius inventors. How could they even build anything when all they have are pinchers?
Yeah.
Whatever. Now I'm really nitpicky.
All right, so I think that's gonna call it a wrap on this episode. So if you're still with us,
there's nobody listening.
Let me have this, okay? So thank you for staying with us, I guess, on this episode. And if you have a favorite moment of Beast Wars, let us know. Tell us
if you remember Beast Wars. If you even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, if they're listening to us, they're all along with the ride with us.
Maybe they just like my sexy voice.
Maybe they like Beast Wars. But so. Catch up on all our past episodes. Do you know where to go to find our past episodes?
I know this one.
Oh.
The internet.
Ah, very good.
Yes. You can do it.
We have a website. It's www.popculturerewind.com. Go straight to our episodes if you want through iTunes or the Stitcher Radio app. Just do a search for Pop Culture Rewind. Also, follow us on social media, facebook.com/popculturerewind.
Hashtag us on Twitter. That's no right.
Yeah, that's the thing. You could, tweet.
The kids are all about, right? They're hashtagging each other.
Yeah, hashtag Pop Culture Rewind. But you can also follow us at Pop Culture RWND. All right. So until next time, always remember to pop your culture.
Yes.
So it's over. Can we go home now?